Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to a new video. And in today's video I'm gonna show you all of my neutral eyeshadow palettes and kind of rank them and share with you how I think they would be perfect for you, and describe them so that you can make the right decision in case you want to purchase any of these, or in case you just have some of these and you haven't touched them in a while. Maybe I can spark some ideas for you to use them. So hopefully that will be a video that you will enjoy. In case you're new here, you're probably thinking, what does someone with a blue-green hair knows about neutrals? And you might be right about that. I don't wear neutrals very often, but I have multiple palettes that play with neutrals or have neutral color story, and I still have them and I still use them, and I'm gonna tell you why and why they could be nice for you. So hopefully you will enjoy that. In case you're new here, hi, my name's Sasha. I love indie makeup, I love colorful makeup especially, but today we're gonna focus on the neutral side of things. I love indie makeup and love eyeshadows especially, so that's why we're gonna be talking about eyeshadow palettes. I want to film a kind of like everyday products that I use. I've made similar video last year, I will link that down below, but I definitely want to redo that video because a couple of things changed, well, a lot of things I think changed, so I'm gonna share with you just kind of my current staples in my collection. But let's jump right into this video. I'm gonna share with you my favorite and my least favorite of the bunch, but more so I will just describe what I think these palettes are good at and how you can utilize them, whether you already have them or if you want to buy them. I'm just gonna go by whatever is in front of me. I feel like if you want a kind of like soft neutral color story, you know, so like you like neutrals and you also don't really go for like very vibrant punchy colors, but you just want like a veil of color, I have mainly two palettes for you that I want to mention. Then we're gonna segue into something else. But the first one that I would like to mention is Colourpop Sweet as Can Be. It's the Winnie the Pooh collection, or like collaboration. This one is older. I think it's like 2 years old. Maybe in spring it's gonna be 3 years. I'm not completely sure. And I don't know if it's available. Sometimes they bring it back and then they don't have it for a while and then they bring it back again. I don't know if it's currently on their website. But what I like about this palette, it has some warm neutrals, some softer neutrals, some more vibrant neutrals, and it has a couple cooler tones. So here you have like the warm tones and like the punchier tones, but you can use just this, and this one is very just kind of like a soft, not too, well, like it is an orangey brown, so it is warm, but it's kind of more like a softer color story. Then you have the cooler tones with the berries. You have a couple greens to kind of dabble into color, but then you have the gold. You have this peachy, pinky, goldy color that is very neutral and very beautiful. And it is a softer formula. Colourpop, both their mattes and their shimmers, they aren't too punchy. The shimmers aren't too sparkly, they're not too metallic or like shifty or anything. Like, let me try to show you one of the shades. So this one is the Honey Tree, and right now I have a ring light, so it will appear a little better than it is in real life. But this one is very just like soft shimmer formula. Nothing too crazy if you're scared of like really wet looking multi-chromes and metallic shades. And I don't love the kind of sequin shades, which are predominantly these two, because they have a little bit of sparkle inside of the matte formula and they feel very dry. You can still work with them, but they do feel dry. The shade Think is a wonderful formula, as well as this one called In My Tumbly. Oh, and Pooh Bear also. It's a beautiful creamy formula. I'm almost hitting pan on the shade Think. It's a beautiful kind of like, not sunflower yellow, but like dandelion. I know what I'm thinking, but I don't know how to pronounce that fully. Dandelion, right? Right. That one. So yeah, I feel like this one is a really like kind of soft, springy, beautiful color story to try out. And I've seen a lot of palettes kind of similar to this, so I think you can find a dupe very easily. Then another palette, this one I actually only bought to depot it, and I will depot it soon. But before I'll do that, I thought I would show you this one. It's the Glam Shop. They had two palettes, this one and then the Sorbeti palette. This one is called Mushlinova. And this is kind of like, I think it's like 70s or 80s inspired. And this is also very like soft. This one is more like neutral toned. So not too cool tone, not too warm toned. Like it is kind of very springy. It goes a bit cooler because it is kind of slightly desaturated. It doesn't have the vibrancy, so it is a bit cooler, but it's, I would say, like kind of neutral to cool. And you have some beautiful colors. I love these two neutrals here. Then even some of the shimmers, and this shimmer formula is very beautiful. I will swatch for you Jasný Latex, this one, for starters. And like, I think you can see, or at least I hope you can see, this one is so much more shiny, sparkly. This one is multi-chrome, so it has kind of like yellow orange base with a blue, purple, pink wet shine to it. It's absolutely gorgeous. Then you have, which ones are we gonna do? Organza, this one, very, very beautiful. Let me swatch it right here. And this one is kind of like a pink, green, gold. It is just a stunning, stunning shade. I love that one. Should I swatch some more? Maybe Chiffonova Broskvinia. This one. This one I think is nicely like neutral shade. It's kind of like a pink peach with a little bit of like beige. Yeah, maybe you can, maybe you can't see that, but it is so pretty and so wet looking. This is for those of you who are kind of scared of matte shades. You're scared to like pile them on and like really build them up, but you would like to experiment with shimmers. This is wonderful. Like it is such a great formula. It doesn't crease. I have a bit of a hooded eyelid and quite oily eyelids, and this never creased for me. None of my Glam Shop shimmers ever creased on me, so yeah. Then also like Aksamitny Brass. This one is such a beautiful, like interesting neutral. It's the one in the middle. It's like a beigey brown with like these multi or like hollow almost sparkles. And I never wear shades like these, but this one is really interesting, and I feel like if you like neutral shimmers, you'll love this shade. It is a bit darker, not too much, but like it's definitely a lot darker independent in real life, but it is one of those darker ones. If you like more iridescent, then the rest of the palette will be great, but this one is a bit more pigmented. And you even have one kind of satin shade in case you are more into satins in the inner corner, if you don't like a full wet look in the inner corner. So these ones are kind of like soft neutrals with pop of nice shimmer. If you like more warm toned neutrals, I have 3 palettes for you, and it will really depend what is your undertone and what is the depth of your skin. I will start with the Avatar: The Last Airbender collection from Leal, and this one is the Fire palette. I feel like the Air palette is also quite neutral, but it doesn't really have it. I think only has like one neutral shade, but the looks that you can create with it are very soft neutral. But this one, as you can see, it has this neutral row, this deep kind of reddish brown, and then the red matte. And the shimmers, this one is a beautiful kind of beige, champagne-y, heavenly shade. Like, I do love this one a lot. And then you have the yellows, reds, and oranges in this palette when it comes to shimmers. So if you are really warm toned and probably a little bit deeper skin toned, this is such a gorgeous palette, especially for summer and autumn. Gorgeous palette. If you are really light, maybe this can be a little bit too like scary for you, but I wear it a lot. It's important to say that I'm not really afraid of colors and bold colors, but I still wear this. And like if you're only gonna use these two, you still can get very soft look with it. So that's one of the warmer ones, or warm ones, I should say. And then another one, which is a lot smaller and a lot more compact, is the Shall We Makeup Wolfa palette. It's a small, beautiful 5-pan. And this one has those like very beautiful autumnal neutrals. You have this mustardy yellow and this deeper brown. When you mix them next to each other, it is a very beautiful autumnal color story. Then you have this kind of like olivey brown. It has like a bit of green. In there, you have the red, which you can use as an accent or you can kind of skip it. And then you have this multichrome, which is like a gold blue seafoamy green. I will swatch that one for you. This is such a nice accent for these warm autumnal shades because it will just completely transform the look and make it into something absolutely wonderful. So this is how this one looks like. It's a very kind of like mermaidy shade for me. I always think of mermaids. And it's a beautiful formula that doesn't crease and it looks wonderful on the eye. So this one is kind of if you want to like experiment with colors a little bit, but still stay in that like neutral realm. This one is just gorgeous. Then I think my favorite palette of these like warm neutrals is my Unearthly Fall Magic. This one is quintessential autumnal color story. And again, you have like mustardy shade, kind of deeper green shade, a very like mid-tone brown, this beautiful pink in case you are more towards cooler tones, and this deeper kind of like aubergine shade, and then Branch, which is a nice brown with like a little bit kind of that like olivey brown, right? And then you have these insanely gorgeous duochromes, multichromes, which are very much in the neutral realm. You have this pinky peachy orange, this kind of pinky gold, this kind of like brown orange berry shade. Then you have this one, which is kind of like a green, and then kind of like how do you call this, like a cool toned silver purple. And then you have this light iridescent goldy green inner corner shade. Like you can see, it has a bit of gold and a bit of green, but it's mostly like just very light shade. So yeah, that one, beautiful. And this one is my favorite. It is a wonderful formula. Unearthly has, in my opinion, some of the best formulas, especially for everyday, because the mattes are so quick and easy to use. They're buildable but blendable, and you can really do whatever you want. If you want really soft, you can do really soft. If you want really, really dark and punchy, you can go really dark and punchy. The shimmers, out of this world. They are so sparkly and wet looking, but they don't crease at all. They don't create any mess. And they're very comfortable and hardworking formula. That's how I would describe them. They're wonderful. Then, if you are like me, a little bit more olivey toned, so you're not fully cool toned, you're not fully warm toned, you're not the typical neutral either, and you're more in that olivey realm. I have kind of olive undertone. I know I'm very pale, but even pale people can be olive undertone. I'm more like a warmer olive. But I think these will be wonderful for any olive undertone. I'm gonna start with a kind of like a drugstore brand. This is Mia Makeup. It's a Polish brand, and this is their the 5 Points palette collection, and this particular one is called Pistachio Gelato. They have a couple other, and some of them are neutral as well, so you can find your perfect neutral in these. And these ones are just like a small 5 pan palettes. This one is kind of like a soft olive. You have these like pistachio shades, this beigey shade, this kind of brown green, and you have this brown, very beautiful shimmer, and then this kind of gold green, but like very pale gold green. I do really like this one. This one is a neutral palette for me. Like, it's like my perfect neutral, kind of. And I feel like if you are more into like softer olivey tones, I would definitely recommend trying this one. It's very inexpensive and you can do some beautiful looks. I will link my review of these and you can see the look that I've created with this, which was very neutral and very pretty and just like very everyday, especially for spring and summer. I would definitely go for that. Then, if you're more warm olive or warm in general, and you like those warm neutrals, I would recommend the Cosmic Brushes Undergrowth palette. Cosmic Brushes is a British brand. It is a wonderful brand. And this is how it looks like. Don't let the packaging fool you. The border is green, so it makes everything a lot more green. But when you look at this, you have this kind of like orangey brown, you have this brown, you have this brown, you have this kind of brown black. Then you have this beigey shade, and a lot of these shimmers are neutral. You have this one, which is kind of like beigey brown. This one is kind of orangey brown. Then you have this kind of goldy shade over here. Then you have this one, which is kind of like a brown green gold, but it is very beautiful. So yeah, kind of like a bronzy goldy green. Let me try to show you. Yeah, this one is very beautiful. So I would say like almost half of the palette is just like strictly neutrals, and then the other half are greens. You can go for these like really warm yellow green shades, or to these cool tone more like pistachio greens if you are more into cooler tones. So I feel like whether you are warm olive or cool olive, or just whether you are cool or warm in general, you can still find nice shades and color stories here. The formula is exquisite. I love Cosmic Brushes formula, maybe even more than Unearthly. The mattes are so soft, so creamy, so nice to work with. Very beautiful. Anybody can use them. I feel like anybody, whether you are a beginner or a pro, you will be able to create wonderful looks with these. The shimmers in this palette particularly are a lot better than in their other palettes. They're beautiful, sparkly, but not too crazy. They don't crease. They are very soft formula, so you won't feel it on your lids. Some brands have kind of more like a textured shimmers. These ones are very soft. You can go very light, just kind of dab of shimmer, or you can build them up. They're still not gonna be very, like, they're not gonna, you're not gonna feel them on your lids. I had no problem with creasing. Even the multi-chrome didn't crease for me, and I usually have problems with them and the multi-chromes. And they're multi-chromes because they do sometimes crease on me, but I had no issue with this particular palette, and it's overall a very wonderful color story. If you haven't bought the Natasha Denona Yucca palette, I would advise you to buy this. It's a lot better, a lot cheaper, and a lot more workable formula. I feel like the Natasha Denona, you have to have a specific grip and specific way of using eyeshadows to make that work. This one, I can't really imagine much people having problem with this formula because it's just the texture and the formula itself is very kind of foolproof, in my opinion. If you don't want to have fully olive color story, but you want to have olive with some kind of fun shades to throw in there once in a while, I would advise you to try the Gourmand Girls Spooked palette. This one is collaboration with Doodles by the Bunny, and it's their Halloween palette from 2 years ago. I think they're still restocking this one, and I think they should forever have this because it is a perfect color story. You have some warm shades, you have some cool shades, you have matte white and matte black, so you can do pretty much anything with this. You have these olivey shades over here with this and this as well, but then you have these more like orangey tones with this one. You have some cooler tones like these blue, purple, pink shades that are gorgeous. I love this shade. This one is called Pumpkin. It's like a pink pink peach orange. We put it here. It's quite soft but beautiful and sparkly shade, and it just looks so beautiful on the eye. Then also the shade Spirit, that one is a genuine like neutral shimmer. It has a little bit of brown, sorry, it has a little bit of orange, but the base is a kind of beige shimmer. Yeah, I think you can see that. It flips to this very yellowy orange, almost in some lights, kind of like bronzy, but you would need like a really strong light, otherwise it's more of that like beigey shade. So that one is stunning. And then for my olive tones, this shade, I think it's called Trick. Yes, it's called Trick. It's kind of like a gold brown green. Where am I gonna put you? Let me kind of try to show you. Yeah, this one is a beautiful kind of bronzy brown green. And yeah, it's like a perfect mixture of like different neutrals, like fun neutrals, with some kind of more colorful shades. And I think all of these, except maybe the red one, are shades that people like to use a lot in their eyeshadow looks. So I would definitely recommend this one, or if you'll find a similar color story elsewhere, because obviously I don't know every single brand and every single palette that has ever been released. Then, if you want to mix neutrals with color, one of the like popular ways to mix neutrals with colors is brown and blue. For that, I have the Paleo palette by Konut. Konut has an amazing both matte and shimmer formula, or like matte and multichrome formula. Their shimmers are very nice, don't crease at all, look beautiful on the eyes, last you exactly the way you've applied them for multiple hours. I remember when I was reviewing this palette, I would wear these shades for like 15-16 hours and I had absolutely no problem with them. You have some more like a warmer neutrals, like this kind of orangey shade. Then you have this beautiful kind of chocolate brown, like a milk chocolate brown. And you have this shade, which is kind of like a very soft olive brown, olive green, sorry. Then you have this kind of brown berry, and then you have a couple of these blue shades. They're all wonderful. They're more almost like iridescent in a way. What will I swatch for you? Maybe the shade Crater, this one. This one is a very beautiful, like pink, beige, neutral shimmer. Also, I think I will swatch the shade Tectonic, this matte, because it is a beautiful matte and it is such a wonderful formula. It is such a beautiful brown. By the way, all of these perform absolutely wonderfully. Like, I have nothing bad to say about this one. It is genuinely wonderful quality. Then the palette that I'm wearing today is the Polar Express palette by Nomad Cosmetics. This one is like third colorful and third neutral, and 2/3 neutral color story. You have the blue shades, but then this entire part is neutral, and it's kind of more like I think it's like neutral, like it doesn't go too warm or too cool toned. Like, yes, you have this one which is kind of cool toned, and then you have these two. This red, it's a red, but it's not really warm tone. Like, it's not, it feels very neutral. And then you have this gold, which that one is very warm toned. But I love that the three browns are very in the middle, so like I feel like most people can use them. The hot cocoa has a bit of warmth to it, but it's not too much. I'm wearing that today, and like you can go very neutral with that. I'm wearing these two rows, sorry, these two columns. So like this and this. And it's a wonderful formula. The shimmers are a lot softer and not too punchy, in case you like that. So I know some people really enjoy that. But then you have this inner corner shade, and that one is very beautiful and very up my alley. But you could use this or this white one in the inner corner in case you don't want punchy, sparkly shades. And yeah, I feel like if you like, you have like a little bit of warm and a little bit of cool, slightly more cool in this palette, but the neutrals are very like neutral, and it's a beautiful color story in case you like Polar Express and all of these movies. Then I think the best neutral palette of this entire collection, it's a palette that I haven't used and reviewed yet, but I have duped this color story, and I know I've duped this quite well now that I can like see the inside, so I'm pretty confident in my decision and in what I'm gonna tell you about this, because it's not a new brand for me at all. And it's the Nomad Cosmetics Chicago Speakeasy palette. By the way, this packaging, this like soft blushy form packaging, and it's so beautiful. It's so like art deco kind of. I love that. And this one is wonderful because it's pretty much all neutrals, and you have cool tone neutrals, warm tone neutrals. You have a bit of the green, but it's very like appropriate green, I believe. So these kind of like grayish, purpley, tealish, grayish, purpley, taupey shades on this side, with that beautiful pop of pistachio, which looks wonderful with these more like grayer tones. And then you have these very wonderful neutral browns. Some of them go a little bit more to the like caramelly side with this shimmer, which is like gold. And no, will I be able to show you the flip? It's like a red to bronze to gold to orange to a bit of green. It's wonderful. Then you have this purple blue teal shade. It's kind of like holochrome. Then you have this kind of holochrome which is like purpley based, and this pinky silvery beige, and then this beautiful like white with a bit of gold and green in there. You have so many options with this, and all of them are gonna be neutral with a pop of that wonderful shimmer, or you can do full neutral matte look. You can also do that with this one and it's gonna be beautiful, but I like that it's kind of like dabbling into colors but not really forcing you to use colors if you don't want to. You can do very soft and neutral look with this, but you can also slightly bring it to the next level. And this formula, I've lightly swatched some of the shades. This formula is so wonderful. I feel like either for everyday or for more glam looks, you will be able to do everything with this. And I think some part of the profits from this will go to cleaning up the Chicago River, if I remember that correctly. Nomad Cosmetics always has a cause with every single of their palettes, and they always donate, I don't know if it's 5% or 10% of the profits to that cause. So I think that's another really wonderful thing. And most of their palettes have some neutral to them. So if you would like to support some nice cause, 100% would recommend Nomad. Staying in this kind of realm, if you want neutral mattes with some fun shimmers, like you want to elevate your looks with a bit of color, but you don't want to commit to colorful mattes because that can be scary for a lot of people, I would recommend Whatsa Beauty. My palette of choice that I own is the Dragon Eye palette. This packaging is everything, but I would also really love to try the Geode from them. That one is also beautiful. I haven't bought it yet, but I would really like to get it at some point. And this is how the color story looks like. You have some like more warmer neutrals, like this kind of peachy toned, and then this brown. And you have this brown, which is very like neutral brown. And then you have these cooler like pink and slightly like purple shade. If you're cool toned, these will be wonderful. If you're warm toned, these will be wonderful. If you're neutral, all of them will be wonderful. So like everybody can find something in here. And then you have the fun shimmers. You have a couple more like regular or like more neutral shimmers, like this one called Fire. It's kind of like a beigey brown with a gold orange flip. Then you have the shade Myth, which is like a kind of pinky going into this like brown green almost. Has a lot of different flips. I think I'm gonna swatch them for you. So this one is Fire, and this one is Myth. And as you can see, like it's kind of like a neutral with a pop. So like still staying kind of around the neutral area, but also kind of having fun. I love the shade Fierce because it's kind of like a gold with like a blue base. Then you have these two. This one is more like a gray, pink, purple, and then this one is purple. And then you have this beautiful purple to green, like this kind of like scaly sapphire green. I think I'm gonna swatch for you maybe the shade Magic, this one. I love these shimmers. Also, I love that the pans are small, so if you don't really like big color stories and like big palettes. So yeah, this one is the shade Magic, and you can see it's kind of like pink, purple, gray, and it has a bit of kind of almost like a gold in there as well. Like this one is very fun shade, very different shade. And I love that about Whatsa Beauty. Like their shimmers are genuinely out of this world. Every single time I use them, I'm just kind of in awe that something like this exists, because I feel like when I'm not using this palette, I almost convince myself that it can't be that good. And then I use it and I'm like, yeah, it really is. Like it really is. And I need to use it more. Like this is a perfect neutral palette with a lot of fun shimmers. And for me, shimmers are always the most fun when it comes to eyeshadow look. So definitely would go for that. I will link all of my reviews, because apart from the Chicago Speakeasy and the Polar Express that I'm currently reviewing, and then the Glam Shop palette, because that one I haven't bought to review and to like use as a palette, but I bought that to depot that. But apart from that, all of the palettes that I've mentioned, I have a review about them, and maybe I've even used them for multiple different videos, so I will link them down in the description. There's gonna be the palette name, in brackets, the review video, and then other videos. And in case you want to purchase these and they are available, I'll also link there where you can purchase them. Then another palette that I haven't used yet, but I swatched it lightly to make sure that it is the formula that I know and love from this brand. It's the Spellcraft by Leal Cosmetics. If you like cool toned neutrals, like fully cool toned neutrals, I would recommend this one. Let me actually get the plastic thing out. It opens up like a book. It's gorgeous. And as you can see, you have these like taupey browns and beiges. Then you have these kind of cooler like berry neutrals. Some of them go more brown, some of them go more pink, but they're all kind of berry neutrals. Then some of these taupey shades almost go gray, like this one. And then the shimmers, some of them go gray, some of them go into like blue or purple or pink or berry. Some of them have like a bit of like pink to gold to them. But this palette is absolutely wonderful, and like if you are a cool tone lover, hello. And it's again neutrals with like a pop of color, a smidgen of color, you know, to make it a little bit more interesting. But if you want to go full on cool toned neutral, you can do that. You can do like familiar, arcane, with like amulet, or with the shade summon, and or even raven if you want black, if you like that. And then you can do like occult is beautiful, elemental beautiful, eldritch also very beautiful neutral shimmer. Hex is a beautiful kind of iridescent white, if you like just like a little bit of iridescent over your matte. You can do so much with this one. I can't wait to film all of my looks with her. I think after I'm gonna review the Polar Express, which should be tomorrow, hopefully, fingers crossed, I will start playing with this one. And I think either right before New Year's or on the New Year, I'm gonna release the review of this. So yeah, definitely subscribe to see that review, especially if you like cooler tones. So I think these were all. I would definitely say that my favorite, when it comes to like fun with shimmers, I would definitely put the Dragon Eye by Whatsa Beauty. Overall color story that to me is super interesting, and I would never think that when it comes to neutrals, is the Speakeasy by Nomad, the Chicago one. And then my perfect neutral, I would probably go with Undergrowth, just because it has a lot of options. But if I just want like a quick on the go, it's gonna be the Pistachio Gelato. and kind of like a palette that owns my heart, not just by the color style but also by the packaging and like the theming, is the Winnie the Pooh. I think they did a really nice job. Would I wish some of these shades were a little bit better quality or like a bit more my preferred quality from Colourpop? Yes, but it's still wonderful. I love the color story and I love this theming, and I do have a lot of fun with this palette even now, like 3 years later or however long it's been. So that one. But I love them all. For autumn, like I just love the Fall Magic. I do really love that one. So pretty. So pretty. So yeah, I'm all dirty. I need to wash my hands. But let me know what you thought about this collection. Let me know if you have any other palettes that you think I should have mentioned. I own almost 60 palettes now. Most of them are colorful because that's just what I specialize at, but what I like the most. But lately I've been kind of trying to find the perfect neutrals for me to play with and still have just as much fun as with the colorful shades. And I feel like these palettes all encompass that. So hopefully you find something that you're into. I know I don't have that many cooler tones. That's because whenever I buy something cool tone, it's purple or blue. I don't really go for taupe and like cool tone neutrals. Lately I've been kind of dabbling with the grays, but as I said, I'm more like a warm toned person, so they don't look the best on me, and that doesn't really stop me. Like I wear blues all the time. Point A. But I've still kind of haven't really fully embraced the grays. I am slowly getting there. So I don't have that many palettes with that color story. I would love to get that in the future, hopefully. But definitely let me know what you thought about this video. Let me know which palette was your favorite or which ones of them you do own. If any of those are on your wish list, let me know down below as well. And I hope this video was helpful to you, and I'll be super happy to see you tomorrow, hopefully with the Polar Express review. So, bye!